From the very first line of The Alchemist by Paulo Coelho, there's a feeling that this isn't just a novel you read, but a quiet conversation you enter. A slender book by any measure, it somehow manages to feel vast, like standing at the edge of the desert. Santiago, its shepherd protagonist, eventually crosses. And while its story can be told in a single breath, a boy sets out to find a treasure, meets guides, faces omens, falls in love, and ultimately discovers the treasure was close to home all along. The real magic of The Alchemist lies not in its plot, but in its promise that each of us, no matter how small we feel, is invited to seek our own personal legend. That deeply personal dream life whispers to us when we're still young enough to listen. I still remember the first time I read it. I was much younger, hungry for answers, secretly hoping a single book could point me toward the life I imagined for myself. And what struck me most was not the grand revelations, but the simplicity with which Coelho writes. The language is spare, almost fable-like. You don't find elaborate metaphors or labyrinthine descriptions. Instead, you find something closer to parable. Gentle, direct, almost childlike in its faith that the universe itself conspires to help you when you truly commit to your quest. Santiago begins his journey in an Andalusian field, a shepherd who dreams, quite literally, of a treasure buried near the Egyptian pyramids. Encouraged by a mysterious king, Melchizedek, who tells him of personal legends and the importance of listening to the language of omens, Santiago sells his sheep and heads for Africa. Along the way, he's robbed, tested, and humbled. He works for a crystal merchant whose cautious life becomes a mirror of the fears Santiago must overcome. He falls in love with Fatima, a woman of the desert who teaches him that true love never keeps you from your path. And finally, with the guidance of the titular alchemist, a figure part sage, part magician, Santiago learns that the real treasure isn't gold buried in the sand, but the wisdom, courage, and transformation earned along the way. It sounds simple, even predictable, yet the book's power comes from its sincerity. Coelho's greatest gift is his unwavering belief in the beauty of seeking. He insists, page after page, that dreams matter. Not the shallow, passing wishes we sometimes mistake for desire, but the deep, stubborn calling that refuses to be silenced, no matter how practical or rational we try to be. And though it's tempting to dismiss this as naive, it's precisely this innocence, this hope that life can still surprise us, that makes the book endure. One of the book's quietest truths is about fear. Again and again, Santiago confronts fear. Fear of failure, fear of losing what he loves, fear of the unknown. The alchemist himself teaches him that the secret of alchemy, of transforming lead into gold, mirrors the secret of life, to confront fear and refuse to be ruled by it. This idea, though clothed in the language of myth, is deeply human. We all fear pursuing what matters most, because losing a half-hearted dream hurts less than failing at the dream that feels like our true purpose. What also struck me, rereading it years later, is how Coelho explores the idea of listening to the heart. Santiago's heart doesn't speak in words, but in feelings, in sudden intuition and moments of quiet knowing. And while the world around him, merchants, bandits, even his own doubts, offers noise and distraction, it's only when Santiago pauses to listen that he truly understands what to do next. In a time when distraction is our constant companion, there's something radical in the book's reminder that wisdom often whispers rather than shouts. The love story between Santiago and Fatima is brief, almost dreamlike, yet it too holds a lesson. Fatima doesn't ask Santiago to stay. Instead, she tells him she is a woman of the desert, and the desert never keeps the men who must journey beyond it. In her acceptance, Coelho suggests that true love aligns with purpose rather than competes with it, that it is not possession but partnership. And then, of course, there's the ending. Santiago finds the treasure buried near the very church in Andalusia where he first dreamed of it. It's an ending that has been debated endlessly. Is it cynical, saying the journey was pointless? Or is it wise, reminding us that the journey itself transforms us so we can finally see what was always near? For me, it feels like both a circle and a spiral. Santiago ends where he began, yet he is no longer the same boy. The treasure at home wasn't visible to the shepherd he once was. It could only be discovered by the traveler he became. Perhaps that's the book's most enduring gift. The idea that while treasure may lie close to where we started, we often need the journey, the risks, the losses, the unexpected guides, to see it clearly. The Alchemist, in his brief, enigmatic appearances, reminds Santiago and us that the universe has a hidden language, one we can hear if we remember to be still and trust. What's striking too is how readers across decades and cultures have felt spoken to by this little novel. CEOs and artists, students and seekers, have all said they found a piece of themselves in Santiago's story. Maybe that's because the search for meaning, the longing to turn the life we live into the life we imagine, is one of the few truly universal human experiences. Looking back, I see The Alchemist less as a map than as an invitation. It doesn't promise riches, fame, or even a clear answer to what your personal legend might be. Instead, it quietly urges, listen to your heart, trust your path, and have the courage to keep going even when fear says stop. Its wisdom is simple but not easy, and perhaps that's why it continues to resonate. It asks us to believe, stubbornly and tenderly, that our lives can mean something more than survival, that within the ordinary beats the pulse of the extraordinary. And maybe, just maybe, that is the real treasure Santiago finds, and the one Coelho leaves for us to discover too.